Welcome to the Whitetail Legacy Podcast, coming in your ear holes.
October 1st, we smash it 10 yards tonight. The buck we call Pickles. A south wind pushing us back to the zag.
Got her stand on our backs.
Set it out and see what happens. You on it?
Huh?
Got the air going out of me.
Absolutely drilled him.
And boom, he's that good buck.
Go get my buck, then we're gonna go get homie's buck.
Urban piece as hell.
Got him. Pickles is dead.
Kevin Gates, both kills on hanging hunts.
My first public land buck.
Nice work, dude.
Look at that. Triple brow on the right.
I'm digging that.
Bucked out October 28th. An absolute incredible season.
Here we go.
All right, guys. Welcome to the Whitetail Legacy Podcast. We're coming in your ear holes, and we're talking about the Huff buck. I'm sure you guys have seen this deer all over the place on social media, magazines, and I don't know if you guys have got the whole story, but it's pretty crazy, man. Really, give you a lot of faith as a deer hunter to just get out there in the woods and
Right.
try to make it happen. So, another Legend of the Woods series coming at you with the damn near the biggest typical ever shot. So here we go. We're gonna get people to make this possible. Get into the show. You want to start off with Exodus this week, homie?
Yeah, guys. Exodus is still running their buyback. So, I love the render because you get to share that data, get to have multiple cameras on the line. And, we continue to support them because they take pride in their products and take pride in customer service and customer retention. So this offer from Exodus is you can trade in any old lift or lift 2 or trick and lock in $100 off a new render or render bundle. You're going to be able to do that by going to their website, exodusoutdoorgear.com, and use the code TRADEUP in all caps to get $100 off of a new render or render bundle. They're going to send you that shipping label, and you're going to send in your old cam, and then when they receive your camera, they're going to ship you your new camera, and you're going to be able to get that puppy up and going with that 5-year no BS warranty. And I will be sure to put a link to their website in the podcast notes, and that'll take you right to their website with the directions of what to do from there if you missed any of that. So
Nice,
pretty cool
man.
deal
100
going
bucks
on
is
here at
pretty
the
solid,
month of
yeah.
March.
Yeah, you got an old cam, $100 buyback program. That's pretty solid. So, all right, I'm going to hit you with Right On Optics. I'm going to talk to you about the Primal 416 by 44. We got some scopes in the mail if you're watching this on YouTube. First off, I want to talk about the box, dude. The quality. When you deal with something that's American made and better known, just like Exodus trail cameras, you get the box. You already know that you're like, man, they've put some time into this design. It's super nice. It's like you can literally store this scope in the box. It's not like some piece of shit cardboard. It's like a legit nice foam in there. But got the right time promise right up there, just like BS, or just like that no BS warranty from Exodus, that warranty. This is a lifetime scope. You buy this, it's lifetime. It's got the CEO Brady saying right there on the hood when you open it up, this is a lifetime warranty product. It went through 100% inspection, and if you have any problems with this, you send it back, you're getting a brand new one. There ain't no fixing anything. You're just getting the same brand one. And we talked about the throw level on a lot of these episodes, just because it's such a unique thing, and you can take it off and put it on. But that throw level right there is so nice. Instead of trying to turn this, having that thumb, you got a big glove on or something, to throw that throw level like that is so much nicer than to try to turn it. Because a lot of times when you mount these, you don't have a lot of clearance in between your scope and your rifle, your shotgun, and to get your thumb underneath the scope and the shotgun to be able to, to turn the magnification higher or lower, they actually have a lever that comes up that screws in. That's probably like a 1/2 inch. And it makes it really nice to throw back and forth. Because there's a lot of times you've been like looking at something on 9 way out there, and then you're like last year when I'm trying to shoot a buck at 40 yards, you're on 9 because you just killed something. I'm
Right.
like, oh, that looks like the shoulder, you know what I mean? So you can roll it back really quick. Super high quality, super good glass. I'm really excited to get them out there and start shooting. And we got 3 to try. So we don't know what we're going to do with the third one yet. Might be out in the world flying around. You don't know yet. But definitely going to keep 2 of them. Homie's going to select one. I'm going to select one, and then maybe one of the listeners to get a chance at the third one. We're not 100% sure. We might get greedy. We don't know yet. We don't have a gun to put it on. You know what I mean? Like, we got the 270, but it's got like a scope on it, and you don't mess with greatness.
No, don't touch that thing.
You could put a badass scope on it, but that thing is just solid. I just shot a coyote in my backyard. The thing's right on the money. Like, thing's got history. The scope is just tweaked just a little bit, so it's a little bit, a little bit gangster, a little bit left leaning. You know what I mean? So you can't change that. But we're really excited, and the best thing about this, we got 3 scopes for the rest of our lives.
Mm-hmm.
Never have to worry about buying another scope. We got this right on promise. We got it right there. You got a lifetime warranty. You don't have to worry about it anymore. If that breaks, 72 business hours, you're going to have a new scope ready to go hunting with. So, all right. You got next level this week or no?
No next level this week.
No next level. And then last breath.
Yeah, last breath. As we continue to push out this podcast on Prime Rib Wednesday, don't forget that they also release their podcast Monday mornings for you to get your work week started off on the right foot.
Yep. And that's the Last Breath Huntcast. And they've been having some pretty solid episodes on there. I haven't caught this week's episode yet, but it is Monday we're recording this. So yeah, I'll get it. I was listening to Joe Rogan today, so I was taking up and had a hell of a day. You start any house project in the weekend and it runs into Monday, that's not a good thing. So, all right, guys, let's get into this episode. We hope you enjoy. All right, welcome to the Whitetail Legacy Podcast, kissing your ear holes. A little glisten kiss in there from Dustin Huff. How you doing tonight, man?
Doing good. How y'all doing?
Doing good. Appreciate you coming on and talking about this absolute legendary buck that you killed. I asked you, I said, are you tired of talking about this buck yet? Because, I mean, I've seen it everywhere, magazines, I've read it, but I still wanted to get you on and listen to the story, firsthand of how it all went down.
Yep, man, it's been nuts. It's been crazy.
Yeah, so hopefully we can run into each other in Iowa. That's we're recording this early, so hopefully we ran into each other and had a beer. And will the buck be there? I'm assuming.
Yep,
I'll get to see it. Perfect. Get to learn about it, and then I'll get to see it in just a few days here. So
yeah, it'll be a good time.
Yeah, it'll be a great time. Is that your last show for the year, or you doing more?
I got Columbus, Ohio booked for open season, and then the Illinois Deer Classic. I think we're going to get.
Okay. Awesome. Nice.
Yep.
Make all the rounds, huh?
Yep. Try to book some more and just take him all over the place, man.
Hell yeah. All right, man. Well, go ahead and give the listeners a brief introduction of who you are, and then we'll get right into the story.
My name's Dustin Huff. I'm from Southeast Indiana, called Greensburg, Indiana, a little small town. Decatur County is where I killed this deer at. It's a farm I've been hunting since I was a little kid, and I mean it's changed my life, man. It's been crazy.
I would say nice, 6 months ago, you were probably planning on just, maybe being out in the timber right now, walking, looking for some sheds, doing a little bit of scouting. But here you are going to every damn show under the sun, carrying this buck around.
Dude, I never would have thought going deer hunting that evening would have turned into this, man. It's been crazy.
It can happen to anyone, man. You just got to get out there in the woods and try to make it happen. If the deer's around the area, you got a shot. So go ahead and get into the story, man. Let's hear it. I'm excited.
Man, all right. So, I was on day, I'd say number 7 or 8 to 10 hour days. I always take off the last week of October and then the first week of November. I shot a doe on Halloween. My nephew, he killed his first buck on Halloween also. And then 4 days later, then I killed the big boy. So I got up in the stand about 3:00 that afternoon, took my climber out into a place that I ain't been in probably 6-7 years. I was hunting my 4 set stands that I got on the 185 acre property. Like I said, I've been hunting this place since I was 12 years old. Killed my first squirrel there, my first rabbit, my first buck, and now this guy. But so yeah, man, I've had a lot of good memories there. So anyways, I get up in a stand. Well, I get out of my Jeep first, throw my climber on my back, and I just picked the corner of the woods that I was going to go, man. And I just went down, crossed the creek bottom, went up this little draw, and picked a tree, knocked off 2 limbs, went up. And the whole time I was sitting there, I was thinking, man, I got to be 100 yards closer. I got to be 100 yards closer to this cornfield. And I just kept saying that. 4 o'clock hits, 5 o'clock hits, 6 o'clock hits. About 6:30, the sun just dropped, man. I remember watching it hit the horizon, and I was ticked off, dude. I was just like, another evening of not seeing nothing, because I didn't see anything that evening. And right as I was about to call the quits, I looked down to my left, and there he was, 70 yards in the creek bottom, working his way up to me. It was unreal, man. So anyway, so he gets about 40 yards, and that's whenever I decide I gotta stop this deer, because I mean, I only got another 5 yards before he's in this thick brush, and he's heading west. And so I whistled at him the first time, stopped him, couldn't shoot him because I had 2 saplings right behind his shoulder, right where I was going to shoot him at. So I about gut shot him. I was this close to just, because I mean, dude, there was so much adrenaline going on. And I mean, it was just, so I don't know how many seconds went in between the first whistle. And then I told myself, like, I got 1 more yard. If I let him have 1 more step, I can sneak an arrow through. So I let him take 1 more step, whistled again, and he took 1 more step. So I had to lean left to shoot him out of my stand. Smoked him, ran 60 yards, got to watch him fall, went down. I mean, it was, put my hands up. I was just like, oh my, I mean, it was unreal.
Nice, man. That's insane. Just be like, well, I'm going to go over here tonight. It ain't been here in a while. I'll climb this tree right here, and then killed an absolute legend of a deer.
Yeah, man. I mean, it was just, I mean, you can't draw it up any more perfect. I mean,
did you know that deer was in the area at all, or?
Nope. So I had no idea of him, but like after I killed him the day after, like all my neighbors were coming by, like, I've been hunting this deer, showing me trail cam pics, and like, I had him in my sights last year. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, it's been crazy about how many people have been after this deer. And I had no idea. I mean, I don't run trail cams. I know this farm, you know, like the back of my hand, and I just I base it off feel and, you know, how the wind is really. So yeah, you just got to get lucky sometimes.
Yeah, dude. Heck yeah. So pop out of your Jeep, pick a tree, climb up, wham, bam. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah,
so
dude.
What was the official score of it after everything was done?
211 and 4/8 was the net.
211 4/8. Man,
yeah.
Net. What was the gross?
216 and 2/8.
Man, that ain't much. Pretty typical, isn't it? Man.
Yeah, man. And like the whole time he was coming in, like in my head, I've never seen a, you know, deer of that caliber in my life. My biggest was a 134 on that property the year before in 2020. So, I mean, when I saw him, I'm like 170, 180 inch deer, you know, I wasn't even thinking 200 at all.
When I shot the 193, I told homie, I said, I killed like a 170, dude.
Yeah. You just don't know,
the
man.
One? I said, no, I think it's like a 170. Like when you think a 200, you're thinking like this behemoth is going to come out, and you're just going to automatically know, be like, oh yeah, that's 200 right there.
Yeah.
Like you got no idea what you got coming in. So the neighbors, do all the neighbors around you have a bunch of history? Or was it just kind of close to where you were hunting at?
It was this one guy named Chad Taylor, he hunts just right on the other property line from me. And he said he's been after this deer for 3 years, started showing me pictures from 2019, 2020 had him on Lucky Buck mineral sites. I mean, he was feeding this deer like crazy, but I had no idea, you know. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, he was showing me, he had how many cameras up of him on different times of the year, velvet, rut. And then he was traveling back 8 miles to another place, and they were getting pictures of him too.
Wow.
And it's just crazy how everybody's coming in like this deer, like they were after this deer. This person was after this deer. These people were after this deer.
And that's what happens after you kill an absolute giant. We had that happen this year where like you find one, you're like, and nobody knows about this deer. He's hidden. And then it comes to find out that like 13 people know about that deer, you know?
Yeah, they're thinking they're going to kill it.
Deer and everybody knows about him. And everybody's trying to kill him. And it's just the one guy that's in the right spot, you know? Yep. A lot of those deer sound like he was a traveler. So those kind of deer, you just got to be in the right spot at the right time and kind of make it happen. But
I was gonna say you're gonna go in front of some trail cameras on an 8 mile trip. There's gonna be some pictures of you out there floating around, you know.
Yeah, that buck we were hunting last year that did like the 4 mile trip. How many trail cams do you think he went past? And there's a guy out there like, man, next year there's gonna be a giant coming through here in the rut. Yeah, dead as hell. You know, you never know, but.
Yep, that's how these guys were 8 miles away. So like they were only getting him on trail cam December, late December, January, and February, and then they wouldn't have him no more because he was coming back spring, summer, and rut, and then heading back to them. So they were hunting him for 3 years, and he wasn't even on the property.
Yeah.
Oh man, tragic. And then you find out that he was killed, you know, that far away. It's just like those guys that killed the buck we're talking about.
Yeah.
They're probably going to be right back in that spot where they killed that giant. Like, there was a giant here last year. There's going to be a giant here. And that deer lived 3.5 miles away. Like, he was just down there on a little rutcation, you know, down there.
Bumping a doe.
And they're going to be like, this is the spot, bro. We're in. This is it.
Yep. This is where he's dying.
Yeah. But he actually lives 3.5 miles away. But, man, so you've been scored through Buckmasters, and then how close were you to? I know you were really close, weren't you, to the actual record? How close were you
to Milo's?
Yeah,
we were about 1.5 inches off, man.
Oh man,
yeah, I think it was like 1 3/8 was.
That's the adjacent county to where we live, the Milo buck.
Okay, so, really?
Yeah, we get to see him. He's in our Bass Pro full body mounted, and we get to see him with the bow that he killed him with and everything. They got a nice, you know, side corner over there kind of dedicated to that buck. Yeah. And the frame on that thing's insane. So I can't wait to see your buck, dude. It's just ridiculous when they get that big. And, you know, they get that big and then they get all that junk going everywhere. And we talk about that all the time. Like, you can get a 130 frame with 13 kickers and have a 170, and it's impressive, but it's not frame impressive, you know, like a framed out 170 is way more impressive than a kicker 170. And as clean as that your buck was, it's just frame and tine length. You know, what was the main beams on it?
Like 28 inches main beam, and his main beam mass was 6 6/8.
Yeah, that's huge. I think Freeze's biggest was like 5 3/8, like in the web part.
Are you serious? You think that was it?
I can't remember.
I think
got
it was
the
a little
score
bigger
sheet
than
up there.
Yeah.
Was it? It's just so hard to remember. That was so long ago.
Yeah,
man,
I know.
but
Michelle was just talking to me about that. She's like, "Man, that was 4 years ago." I was like, "Yeah."
Yeah.
Time
goes by quick, man.
Yep.
Yeah. But the did you get any more info out of the neighbors of any other giant bucks that are out there? He had to be out there breeding some doe somewhere.
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm hearing some other guys that they're saying 190-inch typicals running around in the area, and I've never seen them, so I don't know where these guys are getting them. But so yeah, man. So we'll see where his sons are the next couple years.
Nice. You got a special. That tree's got to be like special sacred spot on it out there. You'd be like, this is the tree right here. I'm going to hunt here for the next 3 years.
I made sure to mark it.
Yeah.
Yep.
You gotta, don't be like me. You got to pin it on your phone, and then you got to pin it somewhere else so you don't delete all the pins off your phone.
Yeah, I'm gonna take some spray paint out there.
Yeah, red X. This is the spot right here.
This is
red
it.
X.
Yep.
So you had said you were talking about you know, neighbors coming out with pictures and stuff, and obviously it's humongous deer. One thing that always kind of makes me chuckle is like when you get a giant buck in the summertime and he's out there in velvet and you're like, oh man, dude, that thing's a giant. And then he sheds velvet and he's like, he reveals himself as like a bullshit 130, you know? But I just can't imagine this deer in velvet out there. Like this thing, it had to look unreal, like literally unreal. And
Yeah.
man, that would just be like, you get that on cam, you're going to be like, okay, we gotta get serious here.
We got some substantialness out here.
Yeah. And I mean, kind of at the same token of that too, but like props to the way you're doing it, man. Just going out there and, you know, just feeling it and setting up in a spot. And like, we talk about this all the time. Like, what if we didn't run cams and we just went out there like we used to? And, you know, if you did shoot like a mid 140s, like you'd be pumped as hell. And, you know, here you are shooting the number 2 typical in the world, and you're just out there going off your gut, man.
Yeah, like I always have ever since I first started, man. I ran a couple trail cams in high school, and then I just quit, man. I don't know why. I was never killing any big deer anyway, so I just decided to go back to how I did it whenever I was 12, 13, 14 years old, you know.
I like that you killed it like that, because just like the Milo buck, that was just like, I'm going out here, kind of know the bucks in the area. I'm going to make a little homemade blind with my recurve and set up in the grass and kill the number 1 typical that ain't been beat. You know, I think deer hunting's the big giants, they should be like that. Because that gives, like, if it was some guy who ran 40 cams and had a managed huge piece of ground that killed the deer, it's not relatable, but you're relatable to any guy out there that's hunting. He could be like, I can literally kill the biggest deer in the world tonight going out hunting. Like I can literally do that every time you go hunting. And if the records were held by someone that, not anything against people that, you know, pay for the feed and the food plots and all that shit, but I think it means more to everybody for you to hold the record than someone that does that, you know, to hold the record in my book, you know, because I can't relate to those guys. And then people are going to think that's what you got to do to get it done on that type of deer and have the chance to do that. And then you come along and you're like, no, man, I'll show you how to do it, dude.
You just got to
be vibing in your Jeep. You're probably playing like some Freebird or something in that thing, banging hard, rolling up. And the, you know, like the eagle in the sky and it's something connected and boom.
Just put it up and just feel the wind.
Yeah,
man.
just feel it and you're like, yep,
just
right there.
Heading that way. Yep. That's the tree.
Right over there.
That's the tree right there.
The whole time, man, if you would have got down and moved that 100 yards and you would have looked back and seen that deer, you'd have, oh my God.
Dude. I know it like the whole time too, because I mean I never seen the deer until and he just appeared. It wasn't like I heard him come in or seen him come in. Like I just looked left and his rack just was coming up out of the creek bottom, and I was just like, oh my gosh, you know, I blacked out.
You're like, holy,
yeah, dude.
All right, man, I'm in the game. I thought I was, and there's nothing worse than like the last 20 minutes and you're still not seeing anything. You're like, what? I'm the worst hunter alive, you know?
Yeah, I was about to get down, dude. Like after that sun dropped, like I wasn't even gonna wait another 25 minutes. I was just about to get down. Then I looked left and oh my gosh, that's what I said.
That's what it should be.
He was just by himself.
Yep. Yeah, just cruising. I mean, he was just coming through sapling trees, moving them out of his way, just walking.
Classic. Like I said, that just goes to show you we put out a podcast, was it last year or something, and it was like the most underrated deer hunting tactic that no one talks about. And I'm sure a lot of people were like expected to get some grand scheme, and it was literally go hunting. Like any chance you have, go hunting. Like if there's any tactic that will make you a better hunter, that's it. Like that's how these deer are killed. You can have the best ground, the best gear, the most intel, and if you don't hunt, you ain't killing the damn deer. Like that's just all there is to it. You can do everything right, 7 hunts, but you needed to hunt 8 times. Like you don't know. That's the beauty of the whole thing. There's the element of chance, literally. And like me and homie, like where we hunt, you can literally, how many times I go out there, I'm like, we literally could see a 200-inch deer tonight. Like the deer are there. We know the deer are around the area. So it could happen at any time. Just boom.
Yep.
Yeah. So with all the articles and everything out there, I was working out and my buddy comes up to me and he's like, hey man, we got to talking about your deer. And he's like, here's an interesting fact for you. He said, guess how much that deer's antlers weighed. So I was thinking about how heavy Cody's skull plate was of his 193. I was like, man, it's gotta be like 7 or 8 pounds, and somehow he knows that it was 9 pounds. So I was doing some cardio on the treadmill, and I was like, I'm gonna go over there and pick up a 10-pound dumbbell, and I'm just gonna imagine holding that set of antlers and like, holy shit, man, like,
yeah, dude,
that's a load.
9 pounds 2 ounces is what it weighed.
Golly,
heavy rack.
And that's just skull plate and antlers.
Skull plate and antlers. Yep.
So when you seen him go down, kind of what happened after you seen him go down and you threw your arms up and you're all pumped up?
Well, the first person I called was my girlfriend. Because I mean, I'm the one always in the woods 10 hours a day.
Right.
She's ready for me to come home. She's ready to get, wherever we're going that night or the next day or anything. But I'm deer hunting. I always take the last weekend off of October, first weekend of November. I'm deer hunting. That's what I tell her, And so I was on day 7 or 8. So I called her and I'm just fired up. Like, baby, I just killed a 170, 180-inch deer. She has no idea what I'm talking about. She's excited because I'm excited. So I get off the phone with her, still in the stand. I call my dad. So my dad had the biggest buck on that property killed 12 years ago. He killed a 153. And so I called him and I said, Pops, I think I got you beat by like 30 inches because I was thinking, 180-inch deer. And he's like, there ain't no way you killed that. And I said, you need to get out here now. So he come out. I called the property owner. I called the property owner's sons to get them out there. It took us 6 guys to get him drug out of there.
Man.
Did
any of them know that deer was there or no?
Nope. Nobody.
Oh, man.
Nope. We were all just like, oh my God. I mean, like,
absolute
we were all just like
out there.
We were just trying to, determine how big he was, and the property owner, I mean, he's a deer hunter, but like we're not, we don't rack hunt. We go deer hunting. And he's like, that's gotta be a high 160s. That's what he said. I said, I think he's a little bigger than that. I said, I bet he's about 180.
Yeah.
Man,
God, I would have walked up to the thing and vomited.
Yeah,
we had been like, whoa. You'd be like, I shot a 170. I'm like, okay, yeah, let's check it out. Walked out and be like, okay, hold up here, bro.
Yeah. Yep.
I said that tape measure must be what I've been measuring with my whole life. That's a 170.
Oh yeah. Well, that's my thing. It's like I have never even seen on this property anything, 150 inches. I've never even seen a deer like that on this property. And for this thing to come through, I was just, in shock. Like, 170-inch deer on this property. Holy shit,
Yeah, hell yeah.
And that's what I was thinking the whole time.
Yeah, that gives hope for literally everybody that's out there listening to this podcast. Like, you don't have anything on camera. You ain't seen anything that big. No one's ever killed anything that big on the property. Nobody knows a deer alive. That gives you motivation to wake up after those, long days in the tree stand and get out there, because you literally never know what the hell could walk in and you could, have the opportunity to kill. Like, it's crazy, man.
It's just like we always say almost every time that we're out there getting our ass kicked. Like, you might be trying some new tactic or something. And in this scenario, you're in a new spot. You went to a new spot that you haven't been in, just took the climber, packed it in there, and the sun went down, and you're like, man, I'm the dumbest deer hunter there is out there right now. And then all it takes is 10 seconds and one deer, and you're the smartest man out there that's ever stepped foot in the timber.
Yeah, you're like, I know exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Exactly, dude. Because the whole time I was sitting in that climber, I'm like, man, why wasn't I sitting in my set stands? Why was I not sitting there? Why, you know?
Yeah.
And then how many seconds later I look left and I'm just like, holy shit, you know?
And then another thing we do, and Cody's really bad at it, is like the sun just went down. It's the last 30 minutes. Like it's prime time. It's the primest it's gonna be. And your confidence of getting it done is like at -12. And it should be at 100, but at 2:30 when you got on the stage, you're like, oh, I'm gonna kill in 8 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm ready. You're looking around at all times.
Yeah. And it's like when the odds are going up, your confidence is going down.
Yeah.
And then they meet at like
4:30.
5:25. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like 30 minutes before dark, you're like, okay. And then after that, it's just like, nope. But actually it's getting better.
Yeah.
But there's somewhere in there where it meets and then your confidence just goes, and then this just steadily climbing. But
as the hours go on, you're just like, what am I doing? You know?
That just goes to you when you feel like you're in spot, trust your gut and stop second guessing so much. And
that's the thing about cameras, man. It's like you can think you got them pinpointed and this and that, but I think it can hurt sometimes because you're thinking you're hunting this spot when you should be hunting this spot, but you've been seeing him here, but heck, he's probably over there. You know, you just, it can hurt. It can help you. It's just like with how I hunt, it can hurt. It can help you. It's just however you do it, you know?
I mean, 8 miles away, you're not even in the game.
Yeah.
You're not even in the game, 8 miles.
Yeah.
Yep.
You're not even getting a woof. You're not even getting a woof of being close, bro.
Yep, I know. And those guys were, I mean, after this deer for 3 years, 19, 20, 21. And I mean, they were hunting hard. I mean, there was like 4 guys on that property 8 miles away. They said that was
they're probably scouting all the neighbor stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And then a mile, like, where's this deer at? Can't find him. Did they have any sheds off him or anything from over there? Or?
They didn't find it, but a guy that came to the show in Indiana over the weekend, he brought the sheds. He found them 8.5 miles away.
Wow.
He said,
what was it the year before? Or?
Yep, year before, and he had Buckmasters score him at the show, 196 and like 3/8, and as a 2020. Yeah, he was an 11-pointer last year.
Man, so he threw on quite a bit, but not a ton. Was it mostly mass that he threw on, or what did he throw? Mostly mass.
Mass, and then he threw on that extra G5.
Man, that G5 really came in clutch, huh?
I know. Made him a perfect typical, man.
Really came in clutch for you. That would have hurt bad, that extra 5 inches on one side. That'd have been devastating.
Yep.
Oh, man. Crazy when you get into that kind of game and you're like, every 1/8 inch matters right now.
And that's like this deer, every time lined up within 1/8 of each other on this deer. And then we had that one abnormal kicker that it would have been real close. If we wouldn't have had that kicker, we would have been right on Milo's record.
Yeah, I think I've seen someone say, like, if you would have busted the kicker off, it would have
just
been...
get a chisel on it, dude.
Yeah, it would have been right on the money.
Yeah, file it
You're
down
out in the
a little
woods.
bit.
You're thinking like, hell, this is the 172 now. I'm gonna leave that kicker, bro.
Yeah, I had no idea. Even like when I got back to the house, I called some buddies up, sent some pictures, and like, you know, I'm excited because this is the biggest deer I've ever seen, killed, anything. And I get my buddies, like some big deer hunters, like they always are chasing after a certain deer each year, you know?
Yeah.
And so they come over and they're like, dude, like Huff, like you got to get pictures with this deer, like professional photos. Dude, I started laughing at them. I was like, dude, I'm not getting pictures with this deer. I was like, I got a bunch of pictures in the woods with him. And they're like, dude, you don't understand. Like, this is a big deal. I'm like, I know it's a big deer, like whatever, you know. And they're like, no, this is a big deal, dude. I'm like, so I had no idea. And then I called my photographer. I was like, hey, I think you need to come get pictures with me and this deer. And I'm glad they told me that.
Yeah, hell yeah. It's always nice to have good pictures. But in your case where, a lot of people want to showcase the deer and see the deer, and it's like, we that guy probably saved you quite a bit of a hassle of not having to. You've been a lot of taxidermy pics.
Exactly,
You know?
dude. And I was glad those guys, my buddies, come over, and yeah, man,
Yeah,
it
you
was.
would have called me, and you've been like, hey, come over and check this out. I killed like a 170. I would have came to the back of the tailgate and been like, okay, bro.
That
Does
was
anybody know this deer is here? Because you probably need to chain link this thing somewhere.
Yeah,
Right.
dude, that was my buddy. My buddy Blake was like, dude, you need to get this in a safe. I'm like, no shit. He's like, yeah, dude. I'm like, hell yeah. I was all fired.
Hell
I'm going to buy the biggest safe they got.
Let's go.
I'm gonna put a couple padlocks in my deep freeze and put the whole thing in there.
Yeah. Yeah, we were just down there drinking beers. I'm like, no shit, dude. He was like, oh yeah. I'm like, all right.
Okay.
I was like, hell yeah, dude. I don't even know what's going on.
When I killed mine, I hid it in my basement for like 2 weeks before I took it to the taxidermist.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't want anybody to know where this thing's at.
Yep.
But yeah, that's crazy. But, you know, if you haven't scored a lot of deer and stuff, you just look at a big framey deer. You're like, man, this thing is big as hell, but I don't really know. And before I scored, even before I had the big one and I scored, I added about 10 inches to everything I shot. You know what I mean? So it's hard to, I just couldn't imagine. I remember when we walked up to mine, I'm like, how big is this thing? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like, you got his is 20 inches bigger than that. You know, you'd be like, what is going on?
Well,
You
think
got
about
the Ricky Bobby in it.
the thing
I don't know
about
what to do with my hands.
the thing about Dustin's buck is like he's got the frame and the height, you know. So yeah, like I mean, you know it's big with freeze. You got the 20 inches extra inside that you can't really justify as you know.
You're like, I don't know.
So it's hard to say,
big
but
as
like
hell.
walking up on Huff's buck, I mean, it's a heart attack waiting to happen.
Yeah,
Yeah,
dude, we were just all high-fiving. Just, I mean, it was.
I would have been on
high-fiving.
another level that night.
Oh, God. Any bush that homie could have passed out in, you would have looked for about 2 days for him, and they'd have been about the 38th bush you looked at.
Yeah.
If he would have shot that deer, you wouldn't have seen him for 3 days.
Yeah.
You've been calling his wife, like, have you seen him? No, I thought it was with you. Like,
I don't know where he's at.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
He'd be in some abandoned house just holding it.
Cuddled up in a blanket.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
It's me and you, baby. It's me and you.
Oh man. Someday.
He'll have half a can of Grizz in his mouth.
drooling out the side.
Hey, it's classic. It's classic.
Classic. The night that I killed my buck. I don't know if we ever shared this story on the podcast or not.
I don't think we have.
But so we go out, you know, pretty hardcore, you know, celebrating. And then I think we get close to closing the bar, and he goes home, and then he calls me the next day. Oh no, he sends me these Snapchats at like 3 a.m. He's running from some biker dudes, and he's hiding in the bushes in a wife beater, and there's snow on the ground. It's in November, and he's got a big dip of chew in, and he's drooling. His eyes are bloodshot. He's like, they got a knife, man. They're trying to buy it.
It's getting bad.
Yeah.
It's getting bad.
So I had
That's funny.
had a 2-week-old at home. I had to call the wife to get a ride. I couldn't make it. The biker gang was on me. The biker gang was on me. So I had to call the wife, and she had to come pick me up out of the bushes, and it wasn't good.
Yeah, you were in the doghouse after
yeah.
that, weren't you?
What's so good about the whole entire thing is he had the brain power to save all the Snapchats.
Oh yeah.
So he could relive the moment. So sometimes he'll randomly send them, and I'll get to go back to those snaps. And I screenshotted some of the pics just to look at every now and then and post some memes in our Snapchat groups.
Oh yeah, dude. Snapchat memories are man,
Yeah.
unreal.
Nothing is as good as your Iowa GIF. The GIF that you always
Too good. We nicknamed the Iowa Deer Classic the Iowa Beer Classic after homie was there last year. Dude's blacked out, and it was late. They had an Airbnb, and it was like 5:20 a.m. when I laid down. We had to be at the show at 8:30. I'm like, this is not gonna go well.
Yeah, that's not a good day.
No, I'm like, oh my, I didn't even know how late it was in the night. Like 32 people in that house, all talking at the same time. No one's looking at a clock. You
No,
know?
nobody.
Oh yeah.
No clocks on the wall.
Yep.
Oh, it's a good time. That's coming up here soon. So yeah, like hopefully we get able to meet you there and get to see the deer and chit chat there. It's a good time. You've been to enough shows now. You're probably like, oh yeah, man, just knock out another one, dude.
Well, I've only done the ATA and the Indiana one, but they said this Iowa one's going to be pretty awesome. Like, tons of big deer out there. So I'm looking forward to it. Sure, man. It's first time I've ever been to Iowa, so that'll be cool.
Yeah, the deer wall in Iowa is insane. The sheds are insane. And like we've been to ATA 3 times, and the amount of people that'll be at this Iowa show compared to that is ridiculous. ATA is kind of slow, you know what I mean? It'll be like spots you can't move in that rows.
Yeah, just packed up.
Especially since, COVID's released all the restrictions and everybody can get back out there. It'll be ripping. People are wanting to do stuff, you know what I mean? And the only thing that every year we go, it's like really nice weather. And we're like, man, we should be shed hunting. And this year it's going to be like 60 something. I'm like, oh, perfect.
Of course. Of course.
It's like prime time shed hunting time. And we're sitting in Iowa for 2 days. But
yeah,
it's what booth will you be at?
I'm not even sure yet.
Oh, you're not sure?
I know I got one, some 10 by 10. I don't even know what my booth number is, but once I know, I'll post it. And
okay, right on. Yeah, we'll come by and chat with you, introduce ourselves, and we'll be around there scooting somewhere I'm sure for a couple of days. But
yeah.
Well, man, is there what's up? What's your socials and stuff where people can find you and follow your page?
On Instagram, the Huff Buck, Facebook, just Dustin Huff, and then oldhuff.com. You can find my music, just where I'm going to be at and stuff like that. Right. So, yep.
Yeah, I listened to some of your music today. After I seen your email, I was like, oh, shit, I'll check it out. It's pretty kick-ass, dude. I like it.
Thank you. What's your favorite? Which song do you like?
I couldn't tell you. The only one I remember is Drinking Whiskey Tonight, just because that was your most played.
I was about to say that. I was about to say, yep.
That's your most played, but that wasn't my favorite, but that's the only name I can remember.
Yeah.
But that wasn't my favorite one. But it's good. I like that kind of music. I listen to a lot of that kind.
Thank you.
Kind of music. Yeah. Good stuff. But I know that's your most popular. I'm assuming that's the most plays on Spotify, because I was like, this is probably the banger,
Yep. That's the party tune. That gets everybody ready to go to the bars. That's the pregame tune.
Hell yeah. Good stuff, man. But yeah, it looks like you had pretty good success. Do you tour with that, your music as well?
I did in my early 20s. I did that for about 5 years and traveled all over the country and opened up for guys and had my own shows and stuff like that. But now I just write full time and going to be doing this deer stuff. And
nice.
So,
yeah, kick ass, dude. Yeah, I was like, well, dude's got hella plays on Spotify. I mean, it should probably be pretty good. And I listened to it. I'm like, man, this is pretty well done. Like, you get it on Spotify, and a lot of that shit's, you're like, this guy did this in his basement. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Not knocking them. There's some good shit that come out of a basement, man. I tell you that. But I was like, this is pretty solid, man. But well, if you can write and do the deer shit, that's probably a way better gig than traveling all over. You're still traveling with the shows, I guess. At least it's not as frequent. But at least you're kind of used to that lifestyle a little better.
Yeah, so. I'm used to spending 8-9 hours in the car ride or something, But I think this is going to be cool doing these shows because, I can pick which ones I want to do, and if I don't want to go too far, I ain't got to go. But most of them, the farthest one I got is the Iowa one, which is like 8 hours away. So everything else within 3 hours or so.
Yeah, ATA was probably real close, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like 1.5 hours. And then Columbus, Ohio is only going to be like 2.5 hours there. So
the Columbus show is pretty big too, I think. That's what I've heard.
The open season. They tried to get me up at the Wisconsin Dells one too, but I couldn't make that one. I'm going to be in South Carolina doing a little golfing.
Yeah. Is that the one that they wanted us to come to, homie? The Wisconsin Dells one? Or
Yeah.
Yeah. We got kids, man. We can't dedicate, 3-4 days at a show. It just isn't in the cards for us, but would be awesome to be able to do sometime. We did one. What year did we do that?
2019.
19. Yeah, we did one in 2019. Had a lot of fun. Met some good people, but we were like, man, this isn't for us.
Yeah. Day 3 goes on. You're like, damn, this is getting dragged on.
Yeah. Day 3, you're like, man, I got to load up and drive home. Like, I got to load all this shit up and get out of here.
Ready to sleep in your own bed.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, we appreciate you coming on, telling the story. It just goes to show, you can kill a legendary deer anytime, any place. Just gotta hunt, man. Make it happen.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate y'all having me, man. I love talking about this story because I'm just still shocked as anybody else. You just don't think about it. Like, you don't think about going to the woods and go, man, I'm gonna kill the biggest deer in the United States. It's unreal. It's just unreal.
All right, guys. Well, we hope you enjoyed this episode of Legend of the Woods. The number 2 typical buck by 1 inch and 1/8 or 1 inch. Really hard to beat. And it just goes to show you, just like we say, the only way you can kill these giant deer or a deer is to get out there in the woods and hunt. And we released that podcast. The number 1 unrated hunting tactic or tip that you can give someone is try to add a few more days to your year hunting, and that can make a difference. This is just a pure fact of guy going out, wanting to hunt, open to shoot anything, and kills the number 2, buck in the world. So, unbelievable story, unbelievable deer. And if you guys, hopefully you got to see him at the Iowa Deer Classic, and hopefully we ran into you there also. So, we love you. Appreciate you guys listening. Always try to do the right thing. Try to leave a legacy, and Whitetail Legacy is out.